So you have rolled up on someone's LinkedIn, you read their bio, you watched their content, and you felt like, ugh, she's saying exactly what I want to be saying. She's already doing it. She's doing it so much better than me. Look at all these people following her. Why would anyone come to me when they could just go to her? I know, I've been there. And if you have to, this episode is for you. Welcome to Codeswitch Rebellion. This is the unfiltered podcast for Black women who are done shrinking, chasing perfection, and performing professionalism in their own business. I'm your host, Melanie L. Denny, personal branding consultant and your identity strategist. This is where we talk about what it really takes to build a personal brand rooted in who you are, not who you were conditioned to be. So stay tuned if you want to learn how to show up with bold authenticity so you can attract better clients and bigger opportunities. So here's the thing. In business, comparison actually makes a little bit of sense. You need to know what your competitors are doing, not so that you can mimic them, but so that you can figure out how to position yourself differently. That's smart. You can have similar services, right, and have a similar outcome, but there is no competition when it comes to your personal brand because nobody else is you. And when you treat your personal brand like you're in competition, then you stop building your brand from who you are and you start building it from external factors like what everybody else is doing. So in this episode, we're getting into the comparison thing. It's a trap, y'all. And we're going to talk about what it's doing to your confidence, your creativity, and your brand, and why being different is not a disadvantage. It's the whole point. Now, I seen a stat recently was quite alarming. So basically, it was saying that social media drives intense comparison, stating 93% of users feel pressure to compare themselves to others online. Then that comparison culture leads to 42% experience anxiety and 50% suffer from low self-esteem. 93% of people feel pressure to compare their lives, y'all. And 77% said social media impacts how they compare themselves to others. It is a trap. And I know because when I was first starting out in personal branding, I wasn't quite sure what I was really all about. I knew I had a skill that came from resume writing where I was helping executives to build their personal brand and figure out their unique positioning in the marketplace for jobs. But I was doing something different. I was now targeting business owners. And so I started looking at personal branding experts on LinkedIn specifically who was doing this work already. Oh my God. I started pulling up all the leaders in the industry, right? I was reading their content. I was watching what they were doing, what they were saying. And it's like, damn, she's saying exactly what I want to say. Like she's already doing it. And I was like, why would someone now come to me when she's out here? Like, what is the point? She's better. And this is a problem. And I think too many of us have this issue where we don't depend on ourselves. We don't think that we are enough. We don't think that we have the answers. And so we look externally and we try to figure out how to do something based on how someone else is doing something. And then we see what they're doing and we admire it. And now we feel like this is the way to go because we love it. We're drawn to it, right? But here's the thing I want to let you know about that. Me comparing myself to all those people, they were better. They were better than me. They were just different. That's not the same thing. Better is not the same as different because we also have to consider what is better. We have to define what we deem as better because a lot of times it's not necessarily better. And I'm not going to hold you. A lot of people, I'm not saying these people, but there are a lot of people that are on these internet streets fronting for the gram, meaning they're building a brand that is not based on reality. They are building a brand based on what they know are going to get clicks, likes, and engagement. And so it's not based on reality. It's not real. It's not real. y'all, they're fake. And so we think they're better, but they lying. A lot of them are lying. They're telling lies. They're telling lies about their work, their results, their clients. They're lying. People be lying on the internet. Yes, y'all. People be scamming out here. And so be careful who you try to emulate, because all that glitters is not gold. I guarantee. I saw it all the time, left and right. Now I know better. And I see people doing the similar work to me, and I'm like, yeah, if anything, I'm like, you're doing it well. And it's proof that there's a need. But I'm not going to go and pick apart what they said and how they say it and say, damn, my post don't get that much engagement. I should do what she's doing. What the hell? Now I'm abandoning myself to emulate someone else. I'm doing the world a disservice, because yes, she's got the same or similar message. However, she's not going to deliver it with your essence. She's not going to use the same verbiage. She's not going to use the same voice inflection. She's not going to emphasize the same things. It will hit different. I remember one time I was transitioning out of the resume world, and this was my last presentation in the career space. I went to a conference, and there were other career coaches and resume writers there. I was asked to speak on how to coach your clients to negotiate their salary. I had just been quoted in Forbes about salary negotiation. So there was my credibility. Oh, boom, she must know what she's talking about, right? Right. So then I went there and I was like, yo, I don't get it. Like, what am I going to say? This is a room full of pros who already do career coaching. What the hell am I going to tell them that's different from what they already know about salary negotiation? And I was sharing that with someone, another speaker, the night before. And she said to me, you know what, Melanie, it's fine. Yes, we kind of know this stuff already. We probably know a lot of what all the presenters are saying. But when you say it, it's going to land differently. When you say it, someone may perk up and realize, oh, and have an aha moment. And it's all about you and what you're bringing. Your perspective is going to be different. And I was like, okay. And I felt so much better. And you know, I killed that shit, right? Yeah, I killed that. It was a great presentation. But that just goes to show you, it's not about comparing and saying, well, this person could do it too, or this person could do it better. It's about you and what you're bringing to the conversation, what you're bringing to your clients, what you're bringing to the marketplace. It's going to be different. It's going to be different. This comes into play where, again, we see someone that we like and we start to mimic because we're not sure of who we are, what we're bringing, right? And we adapt other people's style, their tone, their format, their aesthetic, their verbiage, all of that, because it feels safer. Because, okay, she's doing it this way, it must work, so I'm going to do it that way too. And it feels safer to show up that way than to show up as ourselves, because one, we don't trust that who we are is enough. And two, we feel like no one can judge us because it's working already. There's nothing new for people to say that's not going to work or that doesn't make sense, because someone else is saying it and she's already getting the engagement. People are already agreeing with her. So the risk is minimized. But when you look and sound like everybody else, guess what? Ain't nobody going to remember you. Ain't nobody going to remember you. You're just going to be speaking into the void because you sound just like everybody else. So you ever think about the bread aisle? If you go to any grocery store, what I tell you, that bread aisle, dozens and dozens and dozens of different type of bread options. Every single one on that shelf has somebody, a group of people that's buying that shit every week. What if everybody was like, oh, Wonder Bread? I think Wonder Bread is like an old brand, right? Wonder Bread is one of the OGs. What if other bread people was like, oh, Wonder Bread already doing it and they killing the game, so nobody gonna want my bread, so I'm gonna chill. Then the bread I would just be Wonder Bread. And if you don't like Wonder Bread, you stuck like Chuck, and that's all the bread that we know, because all we know is Wonder Bread, because nobody had the balls to come out and say, well, how about you try this bread? My bread a little different than Wonder Bread. But the people who like Wonder Bread, and the people who like the other type of bread, like the other type of bread. The Pepperidge Farm people, they in there. And it creates loyalty because maybe they tried several of the breads and they realized this is the one for me. This is the one that resonates with me. Everyone has their preferences. And if you don't put yourself out there, you're not even an option. And when you do put yourself out there and you're consistent, right? Wonder Bread has the same damn recipe. Ain't no change in that bread. It is what it is. It's been this way for years. You know what you're getting. Then there's a loyalty that's built and a trust that is there. So I say all that to say, don't try to fit in, folks. Fitting in is what's going to keep you forgettable. Ain't nobody going to remember who you are. Be who you are and stop trying to compare yourself to other people. When I was building my resume business, I had learned something very important that I think I also forgot when I was going through my identity crisis. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, go back to the earlier episodes. I do talk about this a lot. But I learned while building that first resume business that my people were for me and everybody else people was for them. I learned that. I saw it play out. It was to the point where there was a company that I hired to do my sales conversations. Mind you, the company I hired also sold resumes, but their resumes were like $500. My resumes were like $1,500. And he got on the call, and this one potential client spoke with him and his team and offered the 500 resume. And then they spoke to him on behalf of my team, the $1,500 resume. Do you know they opted for the $1,500 resume, right? My resume. And we were laughing at that because we're like, damn, like that, your brand speaks volumes. Yes, because I speak to a specific set of people. They resonate with me. My people are for me, period. Nobody can take my people from me. My people are my people. My clients are my clients. They will resonate with what I'm saying. My content will hit with them. I just have my people. I forgot that. There's enough, more than enough business to go around. There's more than enough. There's millions and millions of Black women who have service businesses. I can't take 1 million of them. I can't take everybody. I just need a small subset of the market to hit my goals and be able to handle my client load. I don't need everybody. So when my people come, they're for me. And when your people go over there, that was your person anyway. It's about abundance and recognizing how big the market really is. We don't need to be comparing to each other and trying to figure out how we can one-up each other. We could just show up as who we are and our people will come. But you got to show up, and you got to show up with bold authenticity. And I think the whole idea of comparison, it thrives on you believing that someone else's existence takes away from your opportunity. And it does not. If you ever doubt that, look at the bread aisle. Okay. Your authenticity is the one thing nobody else can offer. That's the one thing that is your differentiating factor. Is you and your perspective and your story and the way you talk and the way you walk and the way you do things and the results you get and the way you work with your clients and your processes. All of that is you. And no one else can replicate that. They can try, they can come close. Even when you try to mimic other people, you're still going to have little traces of yourself in there. You're still not going to be them. You're still not going to be them. So what do you do instead of comparing? See it, appreciate it for what it is. Recognize that because they exist, that means there is room for you. Ask yourself, what is she doing that I can do differently? How can I position myself differently? Not better, not worse, differently. I'm going to tell you a hint. It has everything to do with who you are. Your identity. There's 8 billion people on this planet, and it's only one you. Nobody else has your exact anything. Think about that. How special are you? I really hope that this helps you today. Thank you so much for listening. This has been another episode of the Codeswitch Rebellion, and never ever forget, your identity is the strategy. Deuces. If this episode sparked something in you and you want to continue the conversation, join me over on Substack. I would love to hear your thoughts on today's topic. Till next time, y'all, remember, your identity is the strategy.